Let's talk about the three things you want to make sure you avoid in a business partner. In another video, I talked about three things you want to make sure you look for. In this case, out of the 10 things you want to avoid, I want to cover the top three. So let's get going with number one, misaligned goals and objectives. This is a big one. If you are looking at a partnership with a larger company, the work that you need to do to make sure that you guys have compatible goals is pretty substantial. And once you can verify that you guys have similar goals and objectives, then you can proceed. If you start sensing that you aren't, that's the time to walk away. And the issue with misaligned goals and objectives is that at any time, and predictably so, you're going to find the rug pulled from up under you. You're going to find that, A, you're doing most of the work. B, you're going to be taken advantage of. C, that at some point when it becomes opportune, there's a high probability that your partner is going to start looking at, A, do they want to go to market with you any longer? And find a reason to get out the deal, or B, go around you and because they feel like they can do the business themselves and they don't need you any longer. So you want to make sure you avoid misaligned goals and objectives. Number two, poor communication. When you start talking about business partners, communication is key because you're going to have to work through some extremely intricate and sometimes difficult issues. Uh, when poor communication occurs, you're operating based on assumption. And when you're operating based on assumption, the highest probability of something going wrong occurs. You're going to say, I thought that this made the most sense. And somebody might say, yeah, I understand you thought that made the most amount of sense. I didn't. So as long as you have an active, robust, effective communication strategy and communication plan and communication between the two of you, the better the chances are that you're going to be able to achieve the objectives or feel good about whatever the outcome is. If the outcome is more success, that's great. If the outcome is you need to look at it, go in a different direction. At this point in your business, at this point in the life cycle of what you're trying to accomplish, but maybe you can pick it up later, you want to make sure that you have effective communication, or more importantly, avoid poor communication. And then the third one is an imbalance in contribution. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to match dollar for dollar. This doesn't mean that you have to match people for people. This doesn't mean you have to match warehouses for warehouses. An imbalance in contribution is when somebody is bringing more to the party than the other person brings, and that with regard to what you're doing for the customer, with regard to what you're doing in the market, it doesn't feel like the contributions are balanced. Now, if you're one of my small and or diverse or women owned or minority owned or some other group owned business, your contribution oftentimes is the fact that you are small, innovative, and resourceful. Your nimbleness is very attractive to large organizations. One of the things I ran into is that I had a business partner who was a Fortune 300 company. We went to market together with a strategic alliance. And the funniest thing happened. We were talking to a large government engineering, procuring, construction EPC firm. You've heard of them. They are global. They said that their system had this quirky requirement that they couldn't have, that their purchase orders oftentimes exceeded 25 characters. All right. Now my partner couldn't, their system, because it was one of those old mainframes, it couldn't accommodate a purchase order of more than 18 characters. I walk in and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. It's not a problem. You need 40, you need 60. It's not a big deal. Now, I'm going to tell you why I use that as an example, because the person that was evaluating our ability to handle that contract said it was easier for them to do business with me as a small business owner because I had that kind of flexibility. I was that nimble that that allowed them to move faster on that contract. Because if they had tried to go direct with my partner would have ended up needing 3 to 6 months to do coding in order to integrate that customer's purchase orders number into their system. So it was the fact that I was nimble, I was fast, I was quick, is why we got the order. It's just that simple. So when you start talking about an imbalance in contribution, when you feel like you don't really know what the value is that you're bringing to the table, and your partner's feeling like they're doing all the heavy lifting, then you want to avoid that situation. You want to make sure that people understand that regardless to how much money you have in the bank, how many locations you have, how many employees you have, that you are bringing something very, very important to this relationship. So make sure you avoid the imbalance in contribution. So those are the three: misaligned goals and objectives, poor communication, and imbalance in contribution. As I mentioned, there are 7 more of those, but we may get into that at another time. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Leave me some comments below. Share it with some friends. And in the comments, tell me what you liked about this, what was right, what wasn't quite right, that could be a little better. As well, other topics you'd like for me to cover. I'm looking forward to that. And if you haven't, by all means, take the quiz. I'll put the link in the comments below. But take the quiz and identify the #1 bottleneck keeping you from landing bigger contracts with the Fortune 500 companies. This is Randall. Take care. Bye.